in terms of, so today, basically, women have equal access to resources now. So we don't really live in an agricultural society anymore. Mm-hmm. We live in kind of an industrial technology society, technological society. So a lot of the jobs that exist, women can do as well. Even in the military, like we're doing drones, we're using drones now, just as good as any dude, right? Maybe even better, who knows? So, so like, even in that situation, and even even in the brute force violence context, women are pretty much equal, have equal capabilities. So, yeah, I mean, and it's not 100%. I mean, obviously, like you don't want a woman who's a Navy SEAL, right? I mean, that's gonna be problematic. But, that's kind of you can see the trend moving in this direction where women can pretty much do the same things that men can do. So, what women are entering higher education and the workforce in bigger numbers than men. Women are moving to urban areas in bigger numbers than men, and urban areas are where most people live. So women are, because of this, women don't have to protect their value as property anymore. Women aren't property anymore. They never wanted to be, they just had to play that game. Now they don't have to play that game because they don't have to be pure to get a good husband who will support them, support themselves. They don't need you, right? But they still want you. They're still sexual. What's happened because of this kind of equal access to resources is kind of leveling the playing field, basically, in terms of like eating and paying your bills and all that stuff. Also, because of this, women are entering the higher ranks of academia. So now we actually have women with the freedom and support to do real research on female sexuality, which is new. It's fucking crazy to think about, but that's new shit. Like women studying women without bias is new. Actually having like real scientific equipment to measure a woman's arousal based on images she's seen. And I was going to say, I said women are turned on by a lot of things. If you read like My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday, yeah, it's just like, this shit is wild as hell. Like, it's so wild. Like, I don't know any guys that are like into that level of creative. Like, guys aren't that creative, you know what I mean? You think about that, and you think about the study. So they've made this device. This is in what do women want? This is a good book. You should check it out. They have this contraption. It's probably like a dildo-shaped thing. They basically put it in the woman's vagina, and then they show her images, and it senses her arousal. Neutral image of a landscape. 2 monkeys going at it. Gay male couple, gay female couple, straight couple, woman by herself masturbating, guy by himself masturbating. The women got turned on by like all of it, except for the landscape. But when they were given the questionnaire, which one turns you on the most, they gave the right answer, which is the straight couple. Then the lesbians were kind of hot because that's sort of okay. And then, I don't know, maybe like the guy jerking off was kind of hot to the woman. I don't know. Basically, on the questionnaire, they gave what you would expect, what you would think. But their pussy said something completely different. And what's interesting is, once they told the women that they were going to be hooked up to a lie detector to see if their answers were true, then their answers became closer to what the vagina monitors said.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. So what's really cool about that is that women can be turned on by a lot of stuff. So, I mean, that's awesome. If you can be a guy that, you may have heard this before about women kind of, as, you know, finding a man that kind of like opens her up, or like, what do you call it? Fucking, that's the appeal of 50 Shades of Grey. And then there was the story of O, was actually like a well-written 50 Shades of Grey that people seem to have forgotten. But basically where a woman is sort of like, in a very like classy, like intriguing way, brought into this world where just the kinkiness just escalates. So
like a new awareness.
Yeah.
Of a side of herself she never knew.
A side of herself she never knew, you know, and it's basically like fucking cocks going into her ass and all kinds of wild, you know, horses, and she's chained to a wall for days on end while guys piss on her or whatever the fuck. You know, the side of herself. Basically, when we talk about this, you know, a woman's true sexual nature, fundamentally, women just, they like to feel desired. But if it's, a lot of women are turned on by feeling desired by a fucking dog, or by another woman, or, you know, by their doctor, or some old man, you know, and by you, like by a guy. So just being, when you are sexual with the woman and you go first, and you kind of, you're comfortable with being sexual, and you can tell a woman that you think she's pretty or she's sexy or that she turns you on just as easily as you can say, that's a nice day out. What that does is that shows her that she doesn't have to hide. She doesn't have to give that right answer anymore. She can be who she really wants to be. So, you know, all this, the real science coming out, a lot of men who are kind of waking up and not seeing women as men who are getting, it's a minority, but there's men who are sort of new age, kind of like not using the word slut, you know, or embracing slut, you know, or the internet's helping with all these kinds of things as well, people connecting and that sort of stuff and sharing ideas. You also have a backlash of guys who still see women as sexual property, and they're upset and they're getting angry, and you see that in like the manosphere. You see that like with guys on like Roosh, so angry, you know, because they're missing out, because they're stuck in the old way, and they're not seeing what's possible. And what's possible now, because of all this, is for the first time. I shouldn't say the first time. We don't know what they were doing before the agricultural revolution, before the Fertile Crescent, we spread out and started fucking killing each other and all this horrific stuff. But we can see from tribes now that are still stuck, you know, they're still like living in that way, we can assume that these tribes, some of them, the women are treated poorly and are treated like property. Some of them, the men and women, are pretty equal. And some of them, the women are kind of in control, and it's a matriarchal society where women are free to have different partners, and they can be the men in a sexual way and without being judged. And then you have, so anyways, so there's probably, the point of that is there's all kinds of possibilities for men and women to relate. We can relate to women as they're our property, and we can pretend that that's real. You know, we can relate to them as if they're goddesses, and they, you know, and they're in control. The way we go as a culture, as a species, really, is really up to us. And what I've found works the best, feels the best with women is friendship. Is where I feel like we're actually friends. We're physical, but that's not like that doesn't take away from the friendship. That's not an addition to the friendship. It's all one thing. We're just connecting. In the same way that, me and my buddy might, hit the gym together regularly. Or, I'll have beers with, this group of guys over here. And then with this woman, we have sex. Mm-hmm. So so basically, because women now are the equal access to resources, we're moving closer and closer to that. There's now the potential for friendship, mm-hmm. not ownership. We're still in this transition period, and what that requires is to get to friendship, we need leadership. So think about decades, this process over decades, I think it'll take of this new paradigm where men and women are friends, women aren't judged as sluts for being sexual, which I think leads to teenage pregnancy, actually, because you hide sex from the kids, but the kids want to have sex. So they're not taught anything, so they just do it. And so we're going to get a lot of these problems that we think the problem is sex itself. We're going to find the problem was never sex. The problem was our hiding it and creating this opponent frame or this courtship or this ownership. Seeing women as oppressing female sexuality. Now that women don't need to play this game anymore, we have the potential now for men and women to be friends. Friendship is based on basically being yourself, being authentic, lack of deception. Someone who's your friend is someone who doesn't deceive you, right? Someone who's your friend is someone who doesn't want anything from you. So, am I friends with the lady at CVS? No, because I'm buying something. But am I friends with, just some person that I like hanging out with them? Yeah, because we don't want anything from each other. I don't need to seduce them to do anything. They don't need to seduce me to do anything. So once we get rid of seduction, the seduction paradigm, this based on ownership, now we have the potential for friendship. Not to say that you're going to be friends with everyone, just like I'm not friends with every guy I meet, but dating is going to be more like making friends.
Yeah.
Okay? So to get there, we need leadership. Now, what's really cool about that is leadership is what turns women on. That is what is exciting to a woman in a man. So fundamentally, women want to feel desired. But when it comes to which man do they want to be desired by, which man do they want to sleep with, in the same way that you're going to pick a woman that, maybe has a nice figure, big tits, whatever, she's going to pick a man that is a leader. And that's all about how you think. So we're always turned on by all the women we see, but women want to be turned on, and they are horny, but who does that get directed at? When does that get triggered? It's with a man who thinks like a leader. So thinking like a leader is the same as a woman having a nice body. Okay? So you are hardwired to notice visual things about a woman's body. You're wired to see that. Like you can instantly spot it. Like, yep, I would hit that. That's hot right there. From a long ways away with clothes on, you can see that just for a glimpse. You can even see it out the corner of your eye. You kind of already know this girl in the corner of your eye is hot, and you look at it. So that's pretty impressive, actually. That's not shallow or stupid. That's actually pretty fucking remarkable. That's amazing wiring. Women are just as perceptive. Only for them, they're not looking at, some stuff is physical, right? But they're looking at how you think. But since they can't see your actual thoughts, they need to see how that thought process manifests externally, and that's where messaging comes in. And I would say it's about 70-30 in terms of what, maybe like 75-25. Like I can Look at this girl, man. She's like right across the street from us. She looks really young too. Mm. So,
You live in a good place here.
yeah. So, what was I saying?
Dude even looks back at her.
Did he?
Yeah. That's scary.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's about 25, 75. Like I can see a super hot girl, but if she looks like she's angry or tense or something, that kind of diminishes. I might still be like, oh, she's hot, but doesn't look friendly, right? So that,
About that.
yeah, it's her energy, the way she's moving. A lot of times if a woman doesn't have a nice kind of swaying, graceful walk, I don't get as, if a woman walks like very straight, like a man kind of, I don't get as turned on. Well, that comes back to her personality. So physically, it's like 75%, like what her body looks like, what her face looks like. But then I can kind of see how her emotions, her expression, her messaging, her mood will affect how turned on I am. Does she look like something soft and pleasant to stick my cock in? Or does she look like angry and tense? So it's that feminine, right? I'm not pulled towards that. So with the woman, it's gonna be 75% how you think and how it's expressed, but there's also gonna be that straight, concrete, like physical element. And you can't get away from that. I mean, you can't have a pot belly and be, have like a shitty haircut and, little physical things. That all of that is completely like out of my control. None of it's real. Like you can have a black guy who's educated and a black guy who's not tough, and you can have a white guy who's ghetto and stupid. So you can have all these different. It's all cultural conditioning. But when I approach this woman, there's a lot of stuff that I can't control. Maybe she doesn't like redheads. Maybe your ex-boyfriend was redheaded and he treated her like shit or something like that. Maybe she was raped by a redheaded psychopath. What am I going to do about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's stuff. There's like concrete things about you that not every woman is going to be into. But having said that, women can be turned on by a lot of different stuff. So like men are more rigid. So like, I can see a blonde and she's hot, but I didn't feel my dick move just now. There's nothing's happening. It's, yeah, okay, I'd hit it, but it's not like to the point where I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go talk to her. But with a woman, because it's visual for me, with a woman, it's more about how you think. So and because their sexuality is more fluid, it can be turned on by a lot of different things as long as they feel desired. You'll find that there's more flexibility there in terms of like what you look like. I mean, I have women tell me all the time, like, you're the first redhead. And usually I'm not attracted to redheads, or, I've had women say I've never dated a white guy, or, probably those are the main things. But, in terms of physical, I just want to keep it totally real. There's going to be that element of stuff that you can't really change, that she's into, or that she just has a certain association with. But it's very small, very, very small fraction of what's of the results you're going to get. It's a very small impact on the kind of results you're going to get. So, for the most part, way, 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 way more important. Like 90% most important thing is how you think. Okay. And just to add one last thing, women, like kind of with the car thing and like what we might consider superficial stuff, extra stuff like that, that stuff indicates how you think as well. That's that's why, when a man dresses in a suit, it's not that the suit might, kind of accentuate if he has a nice physique. That might be part of it, but, there's associations there. And that indicates how he thinks if he's wearing a nice suit. So.
What if that's just bullshit, though?
It is, but what I'm saying is
You can't get around that. You can't get around people's, like unconscious stereotypes or presuppositions,
So you're saying that a girl will be with that guy even if he's a shitty guy?
No.
No?
No, I'm saying that initial, like, if you see a girl, like, maybe a guy, like, that's my buddy Andy told me that, he'll wear like his, when he was a Marine and he would wear his Marine uniform, like, and he'd go, somewhere where there's not a lot of Marines, like New York City. He'd go visit New York City for some Marine event, and he said he'd get just checked out like nonstop, and girls would, show more interest initially in him. So, is there something about the Marine outfit that like makes him look better, or is it the association they have with the Marine outfit? And so the association is going to be, well, he thinks in a certain way. He's a certain kind of guy. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if, the guy has a car that's nice, your girl would assume that he thinks like a leader, but he really doesn't. He just has a nice car. Like I know a guy that was like that. He, pretty shitty as a person.
Yeah.
Had a great car.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But she's not going to say to herself, oh, he thinks like a leader. She's just going to be like, oh, he's cute or he's hot, or that's just, she'll just look, she'll just feel it. Just like you don't have to think if a girl's hot, you just see it and you're like, oh, yeah, you just feel it, right? You just feel turned on, right? It's going to be like that. Well, my point is, I'm trying to make it be as realistic as possible here. When I see a woman that I think is really attractive, right off the bat, there's going to be her body and face instantly. And then I'm going to sense kind of like her mood. She look unfriendly or angry or whatever. And then, but then if, let's say both of those things are good, and I talk to her and she turns out to be kind of, she turns out to be really stupid, which is a huge turn off for me. She's really dumb. Or she's very, what's the word? Like judgmental of people, things like that. That'll turn me out. Like I won't pursue it. I won't pursue her just to have sex. Because for me, like I don't need to. I'm not desperate. Like I actually can choose to cut her off. Just be like, oh, okay, it was nice meeting you. Bye. I can do that because she's not the only hot girl in my world, right? So, in the same regard with a woman, it's easier to have sex for women. Okay, if a woman wants to have sex, like it's not very hard for her to get laid, right? So in the same regard, like she has options, and what happens when you have options or potential options is, your standards go up a little bit in terms of what you'll deal with. So for me, if I meet a beautiful woman, she seems friendly, and then I talk to her and she gives me like the stalker kind of vibe, she seems really needy or whatever, I'll stop talking to her, right? And this happened one night. We were out, and I was talking to this really hot, like black chick. It turned out she was a stripper, super fucking hot. I started talking to her, and I was like, "So what do you like to do? What are your hobbies?" She's like, "I like to shop. I like spending money." And I just was like, so "You don't like enjoy doing anything? Like you just like to buy stuff?" It couldn't get. There's no person behind her eyes. It's just this. And so I basically, I had it locked up, and then I was just like, all right, yeah, I'm not really interested in you anymore. And that was it. And then I kind of I just left. And she was like really upset about that. Like it really bothered her. but the interesting thing was there was other guys that were kind of watching it that I was kind of talking to. One guy who bought me shots and like some other guys in there, and they were like, "Dude, what happened? Well, I thought you had that." And I was like, well, I didn't like her personality. So for them, it was she's hot. Period. That's it. Oh my God, let me stick my dick in that. For me, it was I don't need to. There's other hot girls. I can meet another hot girl, or I already have hot girls that I'm fucking. So my point is. With the guy, on the flip side, she meets a guy with a nice car, and then she talks to him for 5 minutes, and he's a douche. She's gonna lose interest.
So yeah, there's a lot of guys out there with nice cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of guys. Period. So she doesn't have to deal with that. So.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, you go through this program and do SS, and and then after that, it's sort of like extra stuff, the details, your wardrobe and working out and lifestyle tweaks, building a social circle and all that sort of stuff. Going through this is you're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine.
Right.
You're gonna be better than fine. You're gonna be like light years ahead of most guys. But then fucking get a nice car if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It won't hurt.
No.
No girl's gonna be like, oh, that guy's car is too nice. Get a nice car. I mean, it'll only help you, but you don't need that.
Right.
Is my point.
I was just trying to figure out how that worked.
Yeah. All right, let's break a little bit, and then we'll do some conversational exercises, and then we'll take a rest before we go out.
Sounds good.